What I have already discussed mathematically might not be really clear to you, but let's go directly to the example. So in here, I'm playing a game, Street Fighter. I don't know if you know this game. It was quite popular. It's a fighting game where each player, either you are playing with your friend or a computer, can have three moves. The character can kick, it can punch, it can do a special movement. So there are three actions: kick, punch, and special. Okay, now I want to be able to estimate what a player will do, or the computer will do on its fourth action, having known the first three actions. Do I make myself clear? I don't know. So if I know the first three actions of my opponent, I want to predict what will be the fourth action. So that is my my goal of my modeling here. So what I'm going to do now, I collect all four action in the row, 12 sets of action in the row. So I collect 12 sets where each of them contains 4 actions. So the first set, so I just collecting by observing when someone is playing or when a computer is playing. The first set that I record every time he or she is playing, I record it. The first sample that I record, he or she is doing punch as the first action, punch, kick, and punch. They do that in their action: punch, punch, kick, punch. I record it. The second set, I record it again. Apparently he or she is doing punch, kick, punch, special. There are three types of action, right? Punch, kick, and special. And then I record 12 sets of action, as you can see here. So this will be the historical data that I will use to develop the model. So let's say the last action that I record is special kick, special kick. Okay, now my objective, I want to estimate what the fourth action will be, having known the first three actions. Okay, based on this 12 recorded set that I have. Now, if I know that that player is doing kick, punch, punch, I want to estimate the fourth action. What will it be? If you look at the set of historical data that I collect, I don't have that kick, punch, punch. Action 1 kick, action 2 punch, action 3 punch. I don't have that in here. So by just looking at this historical data, it seems impossible to estimate what the action 4 will be. But using this Bayesian technique, I will estimate what the fourth action. So how do I do that? I populate all of this action from the historical data that I have. So this is the historical data that you show in the previous two slides. And then I make 4 tables like that. So these class, or these three columns represent the action for the fourth action, the last action that I want to estimate, given action 1 of punch special kick. What I want to say here, if from the historical data the last action, action 4, is punch, how many events the first action is also punch? So I just look at here. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 event with a punch as the last action, and then I calculate how many of these 5 events that have punch in the first action. So for action punch, the last action punch, how many of them have punch in the first action? So I have punch, 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 punch. So among all of these 5 punch, I calculate how many of them have punch in the first action. Action 1 and action 6. So there are only 2 punch as the first action among these 5 punch class. So I put 2 in here. Same thing among these 5 punch label, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, I indicated as red there. How many of them have special action in the first action? Only one apparently, the one in row 11. So I put 1 in here. Again, from these 5 punch classes, how many of them have kick at the first action? Number 3 and number 9. So there are 2. I put 2 here. Same thing to spatial. I have 1, 2, 3 classes. For spatial, how many of them have a punch in the first action? Only 1. Number 2. So I put 1 in here. How many of them have special in the first action? Only 1, which is number 5 here. So I put 1 here, and then kick only 1 also here. I do the same thing for kick. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 4. For kick label, one of them has punch in the first action. Which one is that? This one, number 4. 2 of them have spatial in the first action, so number 8 and 12. Sorry, right? And then only 1 has kicked in the first action for, yeah, this one. Then I do it again for action 2. So for when action 4 is punch, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, how many of them have punch in the action 2? So there is number 1, number 3, and number 11. There are 3 here. I do that again until the last classes. For the last action, action 3, I mean. So I completed these 3 tables, and then I add one more table just to populate how many punch in the 4th action, how many spatial in the 4th action, how many kick in the 4th action. So basically this 5 is this number, right? This 3 is this number, and 4 is of course this number, this, and this, right? And then what I will do next, I just convert this table in probability form. So for this, the total is 5, so the probability of this number will be 2/5, this will be 1/5, this will be 2/5. I do it for the rest, and then I will get this probability table. Okay, now let's go back to the problem. Now before that, so how to interpret this number in this table. So this number, let's say in particular 1/3, is the probability of having kick in the first action given that the fourth action is special. So that's how to read this table. Okay, let's now go to the problem that we want to solve. Okay, so this is the problem that we want to solve. We want to estimate what the fourth action will be, knowing that the first action is kick, second action is punch, third action is punch. Okay, so what we have to do, we calculate the probability of each movement, which we have done it in the previous slide, and then we calculate the probability of having kick class, saying having kick in the fourth action, given that the first action is kick, the second action is punch, the third action is punch. We calculate it, and then we also calculate again the probability of having a class punch, or having the action of punch for the fourth action, movement of punch for the fourth action, given that the first action is kick, second action is punch, third action is punch. And then we do it also for probability of having a special movement in the action 4, given that we have kick in the first action, punch in the second action, and also punch in the third action. Okay, then we calculate these three probabilities. We pick the largest one, and then we use that class with the largest probability as our estimate of the fourth action. It's just simply like that.